All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our second AVA webinar with American Virtual Academy. My name is Erin Conroy, and I'm the Community Engagement Specialist here at AVA. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. And today I am joined again by Carrie Hennon, the Executive Director of AVA. Hey, Carrie.
Good evening, Erin and everyone. Thank you all for taking time out. I know if you're in Arizona, you're probably getting ready to cook dinner, sit down at the dinner table. And if you're on the Eastern Standard Time Zone, we're yawning because the sun is starting the twilight hour and going down.
Yes, it is getting a little late out. Well, welcome, Carrie. I know on our last webinar, we did a full bio for you. Today, if you just want to share a little bit about yourself and a little bit about AVA to get us started, that would be wonderful.
Absolutely. So again, thank you all for being here. I am Carrie Hennon, the Executive Director of American Virtual Academy. I know some of you in here are Bridge parents, so this is formerly Bridge. It is just a name change. Same amazing teachers, same great staff. I have been so honored to be the executive director of this school for 4 years now, going on. And previously, I've worked at other online schools, one of the largest online schools in the nation. I've also created content and was an instructional coach. And I think the best job that I have is I get to be mommy of two girls. I want to say two little girls, but they're 15 and 10, not so little anymore, but I'm going to pretend like they still are little.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you so much for sharing.
You're welcome.
And today's webinar, as you can probably tell by the title, is all about ESAs, so Education Savings Accounts. And to get started, before we dive into our questions with Carrie, I am going to share a little presentation on ESA just to kind of answer those initial generic questions of what is it, how can we get started. So I'm going to share my screen and start a presentation. There we go. Okay, so welcome again to American Virtual Academy. And one of the first questions for anyone who is new to our not only AVA, but online education and the ESA process, this is what tonight is all about. So what is ESA exactly? So education savings accounts are state-administered programs that allocate public funds to families for approved educational expenses like tuition at online private schools, like here at AVA. The application process varies by state, but generally involve a series of steps. And so today we're going to go through the steps for Arizona to kind of give you an example. And we'll also be sharing ways for you to look up your own state so you can find the process there. So a little bit about Arizona ESA. Arizona's Empowerment Scholarship Account offers families public funds to pay for private or home-based education, like we've already mentioned, including online schools like AVA. And in terms of who's eligible, it's all K through 12 students residing in Arizona. And there are no income limits or academic requirements, and there are no public school prerequisites. How to apply for ESA. So this is the fun part and the process, and we're here to help walk you through it because we know it can be a little daunting in the beginning, but don't worry, we are here with you every step of the way. So the first step we are going to do is go to the ESA portal, and Tracy or someone else can drop the link in the chat. We can send this to you afterwards, but this is the link for Arizona. And so as an example for today, you would go to that link and get started in the portal. You would then submit documentation. And so this includes proof of residency, birth certificate, and parent ID. There's then a processing time, which typically takes about 30 days, and your application will be seen, within that time frame. The approval process. So once approved, you will sign the ESA contract for the next steps along the way. And then the funding. So we're going to talk more about Class Wallet and how to manage funds on the next slide. So if you're in Arizona, Class Wallet is the Arizona Department of Education's approved platform to manage ESA funding. And you can access Class Wallet via your ESA parent portal. So through Class Wallet, this is where you go to pay tuition directly to AVA if you want to join us, which we hope you will, to request reimbursements and to upload receipts and track expenses. So Class Wallet is the place. Some tips for success. You want to make sure to set reminders for quarterly fund availability. Always keep a copy of receipts and invoices. Reminder just to keep your class wallet info, the login info, private, and regularly check for updates. And that is the majority of what we're going to share to get you started, but we have resources here, and again, we'll share them after the fact, after we dive into our questions, and also we can share them in the chat if you want more information.
So Erin, I have the link. I cannot put it in chat. I actually need someone, if they are willing, one of our participants to go to the Q&A. You can put any question in there, or even just a hi, and then I can put the link for Arizona specifically, how to set up the account.
Perfect. Yes, I forgot about that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. No problem.
And then we've already met Carrie, but Carrie is our executive director here. And then a little bit more about our team as well. These are the faces you will see if you join us at AVA, and especially if you need help with any of the enrollment or ESA process. We've got Brad, who's on the line with us. Hi, Brad. He's the head of partnerships. We have Tracy, who's our corporate partner, and then me as well. So we have our full team here, and we are so excited to connect with you tonight and learn more about the process. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Okay. How is everyone feeling so far about that little introduction? Good.
Doing good.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and dive into our questions. Carrie, I know we already kind of covered this, but do you want to talk a little bit more about what ESA actually is?
Yes. So many states have what they call the ESA. Some call them, I think, in the past, school vouchers, but they are a little bit different, in which they are taking state funding for a student, and it depends on how much money is allocated per that student, like if they were in the public school, and they are allowing parents to sign up for these ESAs to use that money for private schools. So, for example, AVA, or sometimes it's even for even tests, for SAT, ACT, for textbooks if you're on an online school. There's also, I know Arizona is great. And if anyone lives in Texas that is in this webinar, definitely listen to everything we have to say about Arizona, because Texas has been very big in the fact that, and they are promoting it, that it's going to be exactly like Arizona, because Arizona's is awesome in the fact that if you have money left over, you can even use it for sports and activities. So if you have a dancer, there's, certain studios and stuff like that, or again, sports, some sports academies. So basically you are using that money that was funded for your child, and now you're getting to make that parental decision of where you want your child, that money to follow.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that. And we also kind of covered this a bit, but who is eligible to apply for an ESA?
That's a great question. So for Arizona, and then again, like Texas, it's going to be anyone. Every state varies. So like in the state of Tennessee where I live, they gave out 10,000 scholarships to low income families. I think it was 150% above the poverty level. And then they're giving out 10,000 scholarships to for anyone, for it's first come, first serve, for any income. So I would definitely, wherever you are, I would definitely, and I know Tracy already put the website up in the Q&A, and we'll probably do it again, but look for your state, because every state is very specific in that.
Okay, good to know. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And what expenses can ESAs cover?
Perfect. Yeah, I just talked about it. So again, SAT, ACT testing, textbooks, tuition, Some of the states like Arizona, it would be like, a dance academy, it could be a basketball academy. Arkansas, same thing. Like, so when I went through the list today, because they're updating their list and they're creating a whole new website, I saw a lot of gymnastics, ballet, sports, stuff like that. So, and again, every state varies. There are some states like Tennessee is specifically just for tuition, but Arizona, Arkansas, it's very widespread.
Okay. Okay, great. And is there an income cap to qualify?
So some states are an income cap. So again, like I said, Tennessee, they were only giving out 20,000 scholarships this year. And if they see an increase, then they'll increase it. But 10,000 of them were for low income families. And then the other 10,000 was a no income cap.
Mhm.
Louisiana is very much about income. So there is an income cap there. Arizona does not have one. And Texas, again, will end up modeling what Arizona has.
Okay. And we kind of already covered this as well, but how do we apply for an ESA scholarship?
So I would definitely, every state is going to have their own website. And again, I put in the Arizona's one. First, you would need to set up an account with your state. So Texas doesn't even have a website yet, but like, so if you live in Utah, if you live in Tennessee, Arkansas, they already have their website. West Virginia has their website. West Virginia's is called the Hope Scholarship. You would go to the state Department of Education, sign up to have an account, and from there they each have different vendors. So for example, I know that Aaron had talked about Class Wallet. That's what Arizona uses, whereas Louisiana, they're using Odyssey. So just definitely make sure, like, and the state's very good about giving a step by step. Like once you're approved, they'll tell you who that vendor is going to be. With the state of Arizona, it works out perfectly because there's no transfer of money to you as a family. You just have an account. And then once you submit that tuition statement, or we'll submit it to you and then you submit it to Class Wallet, then they'll pay for your tuition. So you never have to worry about like, oh, they haven't paid me yet, but we're starting school. We're in constant communication with you. We'll see that you're approved. And then we're submitting again to you that tuition tuition invoice, and then you will submit it to Class Wallet. But again, you have to go to your state first before you learn who that vendor is going to be for that ESA fund.
Yes. So one thing we can learn from this webinar, one takeaway is it varies by state, and we definitely need to check out your individual state. And again,
And
this,
I would suggest if you're here from another state other than Arizona, at the end, let us know, because then that's where we can get more specific with you of like where to go, where to look for that vendor and everything.
yeah, wonderful. And I know this obviously differs by state and varies by state as well, but how much funding will students receive?
So I know in Arizona, kindergartners receive up to $4,000, where their high school, I'm pretty sure it's from like $6,000 to $7,000 from first grade to 12th grade. Tennessee, it's about $7,200. So again, I would say I would average around 5,000 per state. There are, I want to say Arkansas was up to like 12,000, but then somebody came in and said something. So they might be lowering it. But I mean, again, it varies by state. So that's again, and that'll be information that those specific states provide you with that information before you even sign up.
Okay. And can a student receive both ESA funds and a school tuition organization scholarship in Arizona?
No. So that is the one thing of like if you are receiving a scholarship, or I know that some people have asked like, well, what if I'm in public school and I want to use this for one online class? You cannot use they will not even approve you for an ESA. So just make sure that those are the things that you're checking off. Is that you're not trying to, in a way they call it double dipping, is what the state would say, because you're funded for the state and then you're trying to go to a private school for other classes. So that would be one thing. The other one is if you are receiving a scholarship in Arizona, no, you cannot have any other ones. Although again, like in Tennessee, there's some there's some movement in that where if you're at a Catholic school, they can be giving you some sort of a financial aid, I'll call it, is what they call it, financial aid sports scholarship. And then you can be receiving that ESA funding as well.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And are there reporting requirements for ESA funds?
Yes. So the reporting requirements are going to be those school invoices that we provide you. And again, I think it's great because it's a checks and balances, right? That the school is making sure that they're doing what we're supposed to be doing. You have that information. You know what you're paying for. You know where your tax dollars are going. And then the state also knows. So this way, the state doesn't have to chase anyone down. So there's definitely a checks and balances when it comes to, and Arizona has been so great. They have a lot of webinars about this type of thing, of why they've changed vendors and why they do certain things because of that checks and balances to make sure that everything is accurate. There was one time with us, because I didn't put an invoice number, we got the invoice knocked back to us for one of our students. So, I mean, it's just, they're very good about crossing their T's, dotting their I's. But yes, just make sure, like when we're sending you that tuition, that you're reporting it to Class Wallet so that they can pay for it.
Okay, great. And I know we covered a lot on Arizona this evening. Does anyone have any other states they want to talk about? You can put it in the Q&A. And or Carrie, is there anything else that's coming up regarding the ESA process that would be helpful?
I would look at, I know this is, and again, this is something great about Arizona. Arizona does not have any deadlines. So Arizona, you can apply year round. They give quarterly scholarships. So a lot of times with our students, we might get half of their tuition, the first quarter, half of their tuition the second quarter, and then for spring semester, third and fourth quarter. But you can apply anytime year round, and that's how Texas will be. Tennessee was like in one day, and I heard within like 3 hours, they maxed out. So definitely look at your state to see what those requirements are. I want to say South Carolina, their deadline has passed, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't looked at Georgia lately, but I mean, that's just something that you definitely have to make sure that you're looking at is the deadline.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for that.
And another, probably one of the most important things, I'm touting Arizona. Maybe I should just move there. Uh, the other great thing about Arizona is there are no state testing requirements. Whereas other states are requiring you, Tennessee, for example, is requiring, unless they're in high school taking the ACT or SAT, they are requiring the students to take the state test. So that, which kind of private school parents are like, well, why would I put my child, why would I use the ESA funds to go to private school if I have to do the state test? So that is one thing I do know, like Arkansas, Louisiana, all of that, there will be a test that we would have to tell you to go take. You would have a choice. We're giving our parents a choice. I know one of them is going to be the Iowa test because that's just a national test, so a national standardized test. But yes, so many states are requiring that. And the reason behind that is that they want to see growth.
Mm-hmm. And do we have current students who use ESA funding at American Virtual Academy?
We do. We have a couple students in Arizona who use it. We have one young lady who is just, she's the cutest little thing. She gets to travel to Rome to play tennis and live her dream. And they live in Arizona. So it's been something like mom has said, this has been a dream come true because she's able to travel on the international circuit and live her dream and also play the violin and then, still have an American diploma.
That's amazing.
I had a question come in about, can you use ESA funds for public and private school? And that answer would be no, it's only for private schools.
Okay.
So a lot of times with the public schools, if you're going to go school choice, then that's why a lot of states have, for example, charter schools and stuff like that. But yeah, so if you were at a charter school, you would not be granted ESA funds, you would have to apply because you were going to a private school. And there's a lot of states have where there's a drop down menu and you have to list what private school you're going to. And
Mm-hmm.
that's part of that reporting. So when you're filling out that application, that's part of it.
Okay.
How many states offer ESA? Oh, Brad, that's a great question. I
Brad
know.
usually knows.
I think we
I
have
think,
approved 9 to 11, but
yeah,
I think that
and
there's
I think there's
more
like
that we haven't.
16. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was gonna say 17, right?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that
Thank
was
you.
a good one.
Yeah. What about, will ESA always cover full tuition, Carrie?
So for AVA, yes, it will cover full tuition. For other private schools, that's where you would have to see what that private school charges. So, like if I was using my own child, for example, my high schooler, it would not cover for full tuition. So, but for American Virtual Academy, absolutely, it covers our full tuition.
Okay, that's
And
great.
depending on the classes that your child takes, so if your child is student athlete, they're not having to take PE with us.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be something where you have money left over and then you're using it for basketball or tennis, and those types of things.
Awesome. Do these ESA rules get updated each year?
Yes, absolutely. I know Arizona is still drafting, which is crazy because it's like halfway through June. They have not approved their final draft for the 25-26 parent handbook. So
Oh, wow.
it's in red ink draft currently. So yes, they do update annually. And then again, a lot of the states, so like Arizona just recently opened it up for all students. And there have been states, so for example, South Carolina's last year was voted unconstitutional. They made changes to it. The governor signed it. It opened up again. So, like last year, even though we were approved, they did not allow online learning. Now, this year, they are allowing that. So, just that's something to always, we try to keep up with it. Tennessee, for example, like I said, they have the original 10,000 and 10,000. They said, depending on, what the outcome is of the, and the funding, obviously, they're going to try to open it up to another, 25,000 per, the low income and then the non-income. So those are things to definitely that we look at, but we also, tell the parents definitely keep an eye posted, an eye on that.
Yeah. Okay. Wonderful. Another question we have, if my child has special needs, will they get extra ESA dollars to help with therapies?
So some states do allow that. Yes, there are some states. I want to say Arizona might, but I do know like Wyoming definitely does give more money for special needs students.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And here at American Virtual Academy, do we have enrollment specialists to help walk the parents through the process?
We absolutely do. We have Brad and Kayla that would definitely are very, very helpful.
Yes.
And when they need me, I'm here as well.
Mm-hmm.
I like to sit on the back burner a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
update transcripts.
Yes, we have the most incredible team here ready to help. So if you are wanting to get started, we are here for you. We, have support every step of the way.
And I definitely, those of you that are in Texas, like definitely like ask questions, reach out to us. If you can't think of any questions right now and you're like, wow, this was a lot of information, because it is information overload. Imagine trying to remember all 11 that
Yes.
I have like little tabs for each. But the one thing is definitely ask us questions, because if we don't know the answer, we'll tell you, we'll say, we don't know, but we'll get back to you. But Texas, everything that I've been, I mean, and every weekend I'm reviewing, plus the majority of my teachers live in Texas. So they're giving me every media thing. I mean, like my cell phone goes crazy usually on the weekend. Like, oh, did you hear this has been updated? they are looking to do it exactly like the Arizona model. So if there's any questions to where like you're like, you know what? Well, if we want to travel, are you sure? Like I can give you everything of how we've walked through it through Arizona and, what we've heard and stuff like that. And like I said, my teachers have been great because they're there locally. Um, there's a lot of information.
Mhm. Thank you, Carrie, for all of this. Another final question we have is, do I have to use ESA funds to enroll at AVA?
No, I have a lot of parents who pay out of pocket for tuition, and I know I will be next year for my sixth grader. So
Okay.
absolutely not. We do offer, we offer, I have a lot of families that are on, and I will be one of those families on a payment plan because I know my husband and I won't be able to cough up tuition right away. So yeah, like we offer payment plans and stuff like that. I love to work with families. I give them options. So I think it's vitally important if this is something that you choose that we meet you all where you're at for sure.
Wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, we have a few minutes left, and this has been such incredible information. Carrie, you are a wealth of knowledge, and Brad and Tracy. So thank you everyone for being here with us. And thank you for everyone.
Oh, thank you for having us.
Yeah. Do we have any final questions before we wrap up talking about ESA? It doesn't look like it.
Oh,
Well,
wait, no, Jason has one. Is there an estimated date when Texas will be completed with their ESA portal? As of right now, I don't know. I have heard talk, and this is from one of my teachers who has friends at the state level, said that they're trying to get stuff up and running September, October because they don't want honestly, Jason, I'll be completely honest with you. Tennessee rammed it down, the governor signed it, and they had like what was it, Brad, a few weeks before they opened it up. It was a hot mess. I mean, like it was like everything shut down. So I feel like Texas, I'm glad that they're actually taking their time and they're being very intentional and discussing how they want everything. So I will definitely keep you all posted because I know, like I said, Mrs. Sutherland is great about texting me all day, anytime the legislator or governor is going to do something. So I will definitely keep my Texas families notified on that because I'm excited about that one.
yeah. Thank you, Carrie. And thank you, Jason, so much for being here and for your questions. So yeah, we will
Yeah,
keep you updated.
that was a great question.
Yeah. Is there any other questions coming through in the Q&A?
I don't see any more.
I don't see any, but I did put all of the different links for the different states. So we have them all linked on our website and I put them in the Q&A.
Perfect.
But
Thank
Jason, no
you.
Texas yet, but we will get that Texas page up as soon as they launch that.
Yes, my families and teachers are definitely biting at that bit right there.
you. Okay, well, thank you, everyone. And again, our website is americanvirtualacademy.com. So you can always go there for more resources. Thank you for dropping everything, Tracy, so that we have those resources. And thank you, Brad, for being here. And thank you, Carrie, for answering all of the amazing questions. And we hope you learned more about ESA tonight. And we'll be hosting these webinars more. So we're very excited to have the next one. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Jason.
Thank
So
you all.
so we'll be announcing the next one soon, and thank you so much for being here with us.